Few months after the Tessy betrayal, Brian sat in his office with his shoulders raised, acting tough, but emotionally empty. His eyes were no longer searching for love. He entertained women only when it was strictly work-related. If it wasn't about business, he wouldn't look at them twice. He barely spoke to them unless there was no choice. A soft knock came at his door. "Sir, the representative from Loom Innovations is here," his secretary announced. "Let her in," Brian said calmly. And she walked in. Ariana eBay, 28 years old, tall, elegant, natural brown skin glowing softly, beautiful hips, perfect bust, pointed nose, smart and industrious, confidence wrapped in gentleness. Her presence felt like fresh air entering a suffocating room. But behind her beauty lived pain. Ariana had survived 3 abusive relationships. Men who controlled her every move, monitored her phone, broke her belongings, and broke her spirit. She carried herself with grace, but behind it lay fear. The moment she stepped into Brian's office and saw his calm posture, straight face, luxury watch, and quiet authority, her heart tightened. Another powerful man. I need to be careful, she thought. Brian studied her and thought, beautiful but demanding. Who knows what she makes the man in her life go through? Both of them were wrong, both speaking from wounded hearts and old scars. Their conversation was cold, professional, and distant. The next day, Drake visited Boston Corporations. The moment he opened Brian's office door, he saw a stunning woman with a bright smile. "Hi, I'm Ariana," she said, offering a warm handshake. Drake froze, staring, smiling like a confused child. "Aren't you going to reciprocate the greeting?" Brian asked dryly. Drake quickly grabbed her hand. "Hi, I'm Drake, the only best friend this charming man has," he said, pointing at Brian. Ariana smiled, nodded, and walked out. Drake rushed to Brian like a gossiping elder. "Bro, who is she?" "Who is who?" Brian asked. "The angel that just left your office." "She's the representative from Loom Innovations for the new project." Drake shook his head. "Bro, this girl is stunning, calm, simple, wow." Brian didn't respond. He just continued working. Days later, Brian and Ariana got stuck in the elevator 6 heavy, silent minutes. Ariana panicked immediately, a trauma response from her abusive past. "Hey, breathe. You're safe," Brian said, trying to steady her. She snapped. "Don't touch me and don't tell me what to do." Brian stepped back gently. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable." Her heart softened. Gentlemen still exist? She wondered. As days passed, Ariana counted down the remaining weeks before the partnership ended, because Brian was making her life difficult. He made her rewrite proposals over and over. He made her skip lunch. He made her close late from work. He scheduled several business dinners back to back even when she was exhausted. Sometimes she walked halfway home because it was past 11 p.m. and she couldn't get a ride. Eventually, she snapped. Brian walked into her office and dumped an impossible workload on her. 4 client meetings, 3 project drafts, all before the end of the day. Ariana stayed calm and said she could try, but she might not finish because it was almost lunch break. Brian snapped. "No, you're not going anywhere. You'll do them now. No lunch break for you." Ariana slammed her hand on the table. I will do no such thing. Brian froze, shocked. I will not let you order me around like your servant, she continued. I've endured all this because I value my job, but not anymore. I'm not your employee, so you have no right to treat me like this. You've made me starve, lose sleep, and feel weak over and over. I hate when people abuse power. She took a breath. When I first saw you, I thought you were gentle, but now I know better. Are there even gentlemen in this world? Look, Mr. Brian, I only have a few weeks left here. Pretend I don't exist, and I'll pretend you don't too. She grabbed her phone and walked out angrily. Brian stood there confused. He didn't see that coming. He whispered to himself, but isn't this what women want? A man who orders them around, who argues, who rejects their ideas? Or is she different? The next day, Brian tried speaking to Ariana, but she avoided him like a plague. Drake came to the office, saw the tension, and asked Ariana what happened. She told him everything. Drake explained, Brian wasn't always like this. Something changed him. Ariana thought about her own traumas and how they shaped her. What happened to him? She asked. I'm not the one to tell you, Drake said. Hear it from him. But she didn't. Not that day, not the next, not even the next. 3 days later, late at night, Ariana sent a document at 10:48 p.m. Brian replied instantly. Thank you, Ariana. This is excellent work. Ariana stared at the message longer than necessary. Why does his praise feel warm? Brian stared at Ariana's email signature. Ariana. Nice name. The next day, Ariana walked into Brian's office and found him wiping tears. He tried to hide it. I'm okay. I'm sorry you saw this. Ariana sat down beside him. You don't have to be strong for me. Her words touched a part of him no one had reached in years. They talked. Brian opened up about Tessy. Ariana opened up about her past. She ended by saying, people shouldn't choose you. You should choose your people. Because the truth is, you never know what you have until you lose it. Her words entered his heart like medicine. One afternoon, Ariana fainted, collapsing from exhaustion. Brian ran to her, lifted her gently, laid her on his office couch, and covered her with his jacket. When she woke, she whispered, You didn't touch me improperly. Brian shook his head softly. Respect is basic. Ariana smiled, her first true smile at him. And something new was born. Fear melted, doubt softened. Loneliness loosened its grip. A love began to grow, quiet, gentle, healthy. A love that didn't shout, didn't hurt, didn't break, didn't destroy. One day, Ariana and Brian sat in his mansion, talking and smiling at each other. Then, the door opened. A woman walked in, bruised, weak, broken. It was Tessy. Brian didn't flinch. He turned back to Ariana, something Tessy had never seen. Tessy froze. She saw a calmness she had never given him, a peace she had never allowed, a love she had always blocked. Brian, it's me, she whispered. Brian turned slowly. Tessy. What are you doing here? Tessy collapsed into tears. Collins, the man she thought was her dream, had turned into her nightmare. He beat her, cheated openly, destroyed her clothes, threatened her life. One night, he beat her so badly she could barely walk. So she came running back to the only man who ever loved her. Brian looked at her and said, "What are you still doing here? Please leave. You never know what you have until you lose it." Tessy ran out. As she walked down the street, she realized she had lost the man who loved her more than he loved himself, and no apology could ever bring him back. Brian and Ariana grew closer with every passing day. They healed each other, respected each other, chose each other. Ariana gave him peace. Brian gave her safety. She gave him compassion. He gave her stability. For the first time in his life, Brian chose the woman who chose him back. What did you learn? Drop it in the comment section below. Please subscribe to my channel, like and share, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell for more stories.